Hi everyone, how are you doing? I hope you guys are doing great, having a fantastic Saturday. Hope you are wherever you are. I hope you are doing fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. As you know, we are a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Poola, Guy, the chickens, the Invictus community. And so we are just having a fabulous time with all the wonderful news that we've been seeing and some actually very surprising news as well. So anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. Some interesting stuff has been happening as I pull this music down and out. Some kind of interesting news. Uh, it's funny because I was gonna start with something very, very different, and this just happened, and I had to change the order of what I'm talking about really fast. And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna change this order now." That's right. So with all the crazy Jubilee stuff, we know the British press has been going crazy and just really triggering and writing triggering articles, just really there, stirring up their very vitriolic readers who are just posting the nastiest things about Harry and Meghan. And some of that is that they don't want them there, stay away, we don't want you here. I mean, even the paper was right. They were literally doing a poll to see if people will be booing Harry and Meghan if they go to the balcony. I mean, it has been, along with, the last time with that crazy, not crazy, but it's just racist reporter, suggesting Harry and Meghan should be thrown off the balcony. And as our dog barks, and I hope that didn't come through. I was trying to wait until she stopped barking. But anyway, so it's been really, really nasty. They've been making up all this stuff about it's so funny. Russell Myers just lies. I'm like, this guy, he is a royal reporter from the Mirror, and this guy just bold-faced lie, and the lies just roll off his tongue. It's like, it is scary to watch this guy lie, because he makes the stuff up, and he's just so like, he just says it like it's the plain old truth. And it's a lie, about the royal family having a ring of steel or whatever around the queen to make sure Harry and Meghan don't bring their Netflix crew and all of that stuff. And I'm like, what exactly would they be filming? They've done with Invictus like 3 weeks ago, whatever. So it's just lie after lie after lie from him and the rest of the British press. And so they have been stirring up all this nonsense about Harry and Meghan. And it's just, the whole thing is they want to insult, embarrass in every way. And they're looking for people to really treat them horrible, or literally, not allow them into the country. So again, one of the things that they have been doing is the last few days is, especially, I think it was the Express, it was like, let's stir up as much anger towards them so people would have the most negative reactions to them. And so it was very interesting today to to see how much they have been bigging up, William and Kate, and writing all the positive articles they can find about them, and Camilla and the Queen and I mean, oh my goodness, it's just like positive and positive. And I mean, they could do no wrong. And then this happened today. I was just like, oh my gosh, yes, this happened today. Prince William on his Instagram and his Twitter feed is like, off to the men's FA Cup final. Who do we think will win? And if you know, Prince William is the president of the Football Association. So he's there, and he's invited onto the field to meet the players and start the whole thing. And when he was introduced, instead of applause, there was this round of booing. That is right, folks. A whole Wembley Stadium. I mean, I'm sure there were probably people, not, But the boo was very loud and very unmistakable. So as he is shaking these guys' hands, the crowd was booing him. And I was just like, everyone is like, oh, they're booing. And I'm like, oh my goodness. It was just like, and again, what they have been doing is like doing all this stuff to big up, William and Kate. And even yesterday, William went to that lady who is dying, basically cloud chasing. This lady she has bowel cancer, and she has been fighting that for 4 years. The royals have never done anything. And then she raised all this money, I think it's like 6 million or whatever. And all of a sudden they swoop in, cloud chasing, and want to get pictures with her. And then the queen decides, oh, she's going to become a dame. So William ran over there yesterday and put her dame thing on her. And, and she's happy about that. I mean, she doesn't have long, I don't think, to live. And so she, it made her feel good. But, the royal family cloud chasing. And so they got all this press. The Sun got the exclusive. So, they had the Sun in on the deal and all of that stuff. And, so all this positive thing going into the Jubilee, and the Sussexes are just the hated ones and nobody wants them in the UK. And then you ran into today. And it's like, booed. I'm telling you, round of booing. And again, I just mentioned, yes, here is the poll, the Express, that, horrible tabloid that aren't one of, ones that Meghan and Harry are not working with. And, they made it loud and clear, we are not working with you. Yeah, 3-4 days ago, they had this poll. Would you boo Harry and Meghan if they appeared on the palace balcony? And the majority of their sycophantic readers, obviously, I'm sure, are like, yes, yes, yes. And people would be retweeting. I mean, I saw, if you punch in Harry and Meghan on Twitter, you see the responses to this. I mean, there was a ton of these things. And I look, which is sometimes I do when I'm scrolling through Twitter and I'm looking for different stories that I can talk about and stuff. You see their retweets. And I saw this article quite a bit. That's why I remembered it. I saw it. People were retweeting this article and they were saying the most horrible things about Harry and Meghan. And yeah, that was what, 3-4 days ago? And then you come to today, same paper. Prince William booed by Wembley crowd in shock. FA Cup final scenes. Yes, they were very shocked because this is not the response that they expected for the future king. This is what they were hoping would happen to Harry and Meghan. And you know what they talk about when you dig a ditch for others, what happens? You end up falling right into it. Yep, these are, the Daily Express, the Mirror, the Sun, the Daily Mail. These is all part of the rota. These are all the royal reporters that, that are there to big up the royal family. So they are there, whipping up hate against Harry and Meghan. I mean, asking if people are going to, I mean, how juvenile is that? But yeah, today they got what juvenile really looks like. They got booed. And not only did they get booed, people also booed the national anthem. Yes, God Save the Queen. When that was playing, they were booing the national anthem. And it's like, why did Liverpool fans boo the national anthem? And this is not surprising with Liverpool fans. They they have a lot of grievances against the government and against the royal family. I mean, they're all part of the establishment that has really not done they really haven't done anything to help the community, the Liverpool community, also to, with a lot of mess went on with the Sun and all of that stuff. I think it's Liverpool where they banned the Sun newspaper. They do not have the Sun in their community. But anyway, the Independent talks about it. It says, one second, it's just a little bit bigger so I can read it better. It says, booing could be heard as God Save the Queen was played ahead of the Liverpool match at Chelsea in the FA finals at Wembley. The anger against the social and economic inequalities among a left-leaning city and a fan base have remained. And the anthem continues to be booed when Liverpool play at Wembley. Under the Conservative government in the last decade, many from Merseyside feel they continue to be let down by the state and believe the food banks outside Enfield and Goodison is evident of widening inequalities. With Liverpool once again returning to Wembley for a major cup final, their first in the FA Cup since 2006, it is therefore a platform for fans to express their frustration at the establishment that they believe continue to let them down and others around the country down. So kudos to the fans at Wembley. Kudos to the Liverpool fans who are not putting up with the nonsense from the government, from Boris Johnson's government, and from the royal family. I love this for them. I love this for them because this is what they wanted for others. This is what they were looking to happen to the Sussexes. And nobody expected the FA Cup to happen at the FA Cup. Nobody, I guess they probably forgot that the Liverpool fans always boo them. I guess it was, 2006, so it's been a while. And so this was a major shock, especially this is Jubilee year. I mean, next month is the Jubilee. So if you believe the tabloids, everybody in the UK is excited about the Jubilee. Everybody is there for the Queen. Everybody is going to be lifting up and bigging up the Cambridges and the Wessexes and Prince Charles and Camilla and the whole bit. And, well, obviously not. Because, I saw some responses when people were like, wait, is that booing I hear? And people on Twitter are celebrating the booing. British fans are celebrating the booing of Prince William and the booing of the Queen. So, and, I guess they don't, the British anthem is God Save the Queen. I guess they don't want a Queen be saved. I guess not. Queen Betty, sleep with your eyes open. It's just, And the thing about it, again, this is what they wanted for Meghan and Harry. Be careful what you wish for others. Be careful of the ditches that you're building and digging for others, because as the saying goes, you will be the one to fall in that ditch. So thank you, ancestors. Thank you and thank you, karma. You show up every time we need it. Quite a bit of karma. So, and then there's this. We talked about this a while ago. We talked about this book that the British government I think they spent, 20 million pounds to make books to give to school children, that every school child in primary school to have a book about the Queen's Jubilee. And this was very frustrating to see because the Education Secretary, Nadim Zahawi, reads the commemorative Jubilee book with Year 5 pupils during a visit to Manor Primary School in Sutton. So I guess the monarchy or the government, whomever, who paid that $20 million to get school children and hear the kids with all the books in their laps, he's reading this book, and there's the Queen Elizabeth, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so that you can see the Queen Elizabeth in the back there. And for me, this is really horrendous because you're like indoctrinating children. Why is this education secretary in school reading books about the Queen to these kids? And they are brown children, black and brown children. Why? Why would any parent allow this? I don't even know if the parents would know, or they just, he is the education secretary. So maybe he just shows up and reading this stuff to the kids. Shouldn't this be the parents deciding if that's what they want? I mean, again, the ridiculousness of that. And, just so you know, you can find the book on Amazon. This is the book they're reading. So I just, one of the things, I think was it Scotland or Wales? I talked about it, where they were like, the goal was for all over Europe, all over the UK, that each child has this. And I think it was Scotland. They were like, we're not doing that. We're not handing this out to every child. If the parents or the school requests it, yeah, sure, we'll give it to them. But we're not going to do this mandatory thing where we are making schools give this out to every, Not every parent might want this. So if they request it, we'll give it to them. But if not, we're not doing it. So, but it's just, yes. England. Anyways, moving on. So we had yesterday, this drop yesterday evening actually. We had this news come out with, and I hadn't really talked about it because just the fact of talking about, the Markle family, I feel like I need a shower. Every time I think about them, I feel like I need a shower. It's just so gross. It's like, ew, but we're talking about it because yesterday afternoon, actually, and I love how Harry and Meghan do this. They drop things after the British press they're closed, they're going to bed. It's like 8 p.m. British, all their press is closed for the weekend, I guess. And so they can't control this narrative. So what it is that Meghan and her team has filed a motion to dismiss the case brought by Samantha Markle. And what they're doing is that they're seeking, that Samantha Markle pay for Meghan's court fees and pay for attorney fees. And they're seeking it based on that the time the time limit has passed for some of the things that they are saying that, for example, Meghan wrote the letter, Meghan wrote the email to Jason Knopf in terms of when he had convinced her to to speak to, or at least comment on the book, Finding Freedom, when they were doing their research, and Scobie and Carolyn had questions. And at first, as we know, Meghan didn't want to do it. And she had asked her, she's like, I want to tell my friends not to do it. Jason Knopf convinced them that, to do it, and that they can clear up some, of the lies that told in the press. So Meghan, I guess he had asked Meghan some questions, and I guess maybe Scobie and Carolyn had those questions. So Meghan wrote an email and, for some things to clarify. For example, like that tiara story, that was a total lie, that she said even in there that, it was something that she did with the Queen. They decided with the Queen, and she loved the tiara, so she cleared up some stuff in there. And in the case where Meghan, when she sued the Daily Mail, we know that Prince William allowed his charity boss, CEO, Jason Knopf, to leak Harry and Meghan's emails, and also Meghan's private emails, and leaked her private texts to the court in order to help the Daily Mail to win, which we know Meghan ended up winning, and the court was like, this information is not even relevant to the case. And so what happened, because the email that Meghan gave to Jason Knopf, which he broke her confidence and basically leaked it. He basically submitted it into evidence, and then obviously the press picked it up, and is now available to everybody in the world. The information in the email is what a lot of it is what Samantha is using to claim that Meghan basically has disparaged her name, that she has, defamed her, and all of that stuff. And the problem with that is, when Meghan wrote that email in 2018, the statute of limitations for Florida is 2 years on that kind of things. So the email, it's beyond the statute of limitations. So according to Florida law, you can't use that into evidence. Why? Because the statute of limitations ran out. And two, it's not the things that she's claiming Meghan used to defame her or was defamatory are not. A lot of it is true, and a lot of it Meghan didn't even say. And then other things are not actionable, like opinions, or you give the gist of something. They're not actionable. And also too, a lot of it is true. And so based on all of those things, Meghan's lawyers are like, this is, you don't have a case. And so they are filing for it to be dismissed. And some of what they said in the filing, and I'm going to read a little bit. It says, Pursuant to federal rule of civil procedure, defendant Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan, sued as Meghan Markle, respectfully moves to dismiss plaintiff's complaint for failure to state a claim and to seek recovery of reasonable attorney fees and court and costs under Florida Statute 768295. This is a defamation case without merit. Plaintiff accuses Meghan of making various defamatory statements about her. Plaintiff alleges allegations are demonstrably false, and the evidence would easily confirm that. But plaintiff complaints fail on its own merit, even when the court assumed the truth of the plaintiff's allegation for the purpose of argument, as it must do on a motion to dismiss. And it goes on. And basically, so they're trying to recover fees because, again, a lot of the things that, what we just said, a lot of the things that Samantha is saying that, she can accuse Meghan of or bring charges against her or, file a suit against her are things from that email, things from Finding Freedom, which she accused Meghan of telling to Scobie, and using the email as, evidence of what Meghan says to Scobie and Carolyn. The problem with that is the majority of the things that Meghan says in the email, none of it ends up in Finding Freedom. And then a lot of things that are, say it is in Finding Freedom is one, not in the email or misstated, or some of the stuff is just the author's opinion. None of which, and then you look at even that, Meghan didn't write Finding Freedom. She didn't, she's not the right author. She's not the publisher. She has no say in how it's edited or what's in and what's out. With the email, you can't use it again Meghan didn't publish the email. That was a private email. Even in their own, filing, Samantha's own filing, it said that Jason Knopf broke her confidence and revealed that email to the court. So it's not Meghan didn't do it. Jason Knopf is the one that's who she needs to be going at for revealing that. And then they did it in a court of law. So you can't use that information, that private information, was supposed to be privileged information in the court in the UK. You can't use that there in this case, again, and then claim that Meghan did it. Again, Meghan didn't publish anything, and then some of it, the things that she said in Oprah, which is part of what she said, well, she said this in Oprah. And it's like, what she said in Oprah was an opinion that is covered under the First Amendment, freedom of speech. So again, the case is without merit. And so that's why they're filing to dismiss it. And it goes on to says Meghan is entitled to recover her attorney fees and costs under Florida AntiSlap statute. Florida enacts its AntiSlap statute to spare defendants the great expense, harassment, and interruption of their duties from lawsuits that seek to suppress and exercise the First Amendment rights. Going down a little further, it says the longer the suit lingers, the greater the expense and interruption in the lives of the target, the greater the threat of financial liability, and the greater the chill on the exercise of constitutional rights. And, the end of, to that end, the statute prohibits the filing of a lawsuit that A, is without merit, and B, rises out of the defendant's exercise of constitutional rights to free speech in connection with a public issue, which this is. So, and it goes on and goes on. But some of the things that, going through some of the things that Samantha says, that the different claims that she's making that the case is about, that she's saying that, Meghan said, I guess in the email, that the plaintiff, Samantha, dropped out of high school, except that was in, I guess in the letter, but it's not there's no such statement in Finding Freedom. So again, letter private, Finding Freedom public, it doesn't exist in Finding Freedom. And if you want to read on with me, I'm reading under statement and under defect. And the defendant, number 2, it says the defendant had never had a relationship with the brother or with the plaintiff or her brother. Meghan says she never had a relationship with Samantha or her brother, I guess, Thomas Jr. Well, that's her opinion. You can't. How are you gonna, you know, that's an opinion which she's allowed to. And again, it's free speech. You can't tell somebody, what kind of relationship they had with someone. I mean, she feels she never had a relationship. That's her opinion. You can't, what are you gonna do with that? You know. And she said, number 3 says, upon dating Harry, plaintiff Samantha changed her last name back to Markle. Well, that's, I guess, in the email, but it's not in no such statement in Finding Freedom. And of course, that is true, actually, because, and I guess Samantha didn't realize people, would go back to, because apparently she sues people a lot. She sues all kinds of people. She has all these cases, and there is evidence. Actually, I am going to link this article so you guys can go back and read it. Literally, 2016 is when Harry, went after the press and released that letter, one clarifying and confirming that Meghan is his girlfriend and that the press is being racist. That was in 2016. And I guess Samantha didn't realize people would go back and check her many court cases that she has, and many times she is suing people, that they wouldn't go back and check because, and what do you know? In 2016, Samantha filed a lawsuit against someone under the name Rasmussen. I guess she was married twice, and she's used the name Rasmussen and Grant. And Meghan is only, I guess, knew her as Grant. Again, they didn't really have a relationship, so she knew as Grant. In 2016, same year, Samantha was still going by Grant because she filed a lawsuit under Grant. And so even though the statement was not in Finding Freedom, it's substantial truth because she literally was going by the name Rasmussen. And when you look back at Samantha's early interviews in 2016, when she first started, spouting her nonsense, she was going by Samantha Grant. So even that is nonsense. And then on the 4th, she said, plaintiff began a career creating stories to sell to the press. That's an opinion, and again, it's also true because she was doing it. You know what I mean? She was literally doing that. She literally created a career doing it because she was getting paid by selling her stories to the Daily Mail, the Sun, and all of those British press, GMB she's been on. I mean, she basically, that's what she was doing. And again, it's an opinion. It's also covered under free speech. Plaintiff lost custody of all 3 children, of all 3 of her children. No such statement, may have been in the letter, but no such statement was in Finding Freedom. They did not use that. Again, just about all the things Meghan said in the letter that you sent to Jason Knopf, 99.9% of it was not in Finding Freedom. So even though the British press was going crazy about this email, Scobie and Carolyn didn't use it, and even when they used something, it was misstated or stated differently from what Meghan had said in the email. And 6, it says plaintiff, had 3 children with different fathers. It says no such statement in either Finding Freedom or the email, but it's actually the truth. It is actually the truth. She did have 3 kids with 3 different fathers. So I'm not sure what she's like. Why would that be one of your claim? I guess she felt like letting the public know that is something that defamed her, but it's the truth, So, and then 7, it says plaintiff brokered press deals for her father. It's substantial truth in Finding Freedom. It is absolutely true. Samantha says it. Her father says it. They're on video. They are literally on video. It's in Finding Freedom, and it's on video. It's truth, And also she says Meghan had crossed paths with the plaintiff only twice since growing up. And it's in Finding Freedom, but it kind of misstates what Meghan says. And also, too, Meghan talks about that in the Oprah interview. She said that, the last time she saw her was like 18 years ago. She literally said like 18 or 19 years ago. She couldn't remember. She knew it was a long time. And then about 10 years before that, I guess when she saw her, when she was doing her, when she was graduating, when Samantha was graduating. And so that's what she said. And so Samantha is like, well, that defames her. And it's just like, well, that's her, the gist is also covered in, it's our opinion. It's like, the point of it is Meghan couldn't remember. All she knew it was a long time ago. And it's just because Meghan is saying 18, 19 years ago. And Samantha was saying, no, you saw me 13 years ago. The point she's trying to make, it was a long time ago. That is also covered. It's like you can't sue somebody because they can't remember when they last time met you. That doesn't defame you. You just don't remember, and so that it's like I said, it's literally ridiculous. It also says in Finding Freedom, it states that if there were more photos of the parties, I guess of Meghan and kids, the plaintiff would have sold them. Or if there were more photos of Meghan, that she would have sold them. It's in it's in Finding Freedom, but it doesn't appear in Meghan's email, and that's an opinion of the writers that, and judging from Samantha and her father's behavior, and even, they've been doing, they've been selling anything Meghan related to make money off of it. That is a valid opinion. And not even Meghan's, because that was from, Scobie and Carolyn's book. And then plaintiff reached out to the Sun. Well, she's been reached out to all the British tabloids. So yeah. And it's in in Finding Freedom, but Meghan never said that. It doesn't exist in the email. Like, again, the majority, I guess 99.9% of the things that are in that email does not appear in Finding Freedom. So with all of this stuff, that's, one of the things that they're like, look, you don't have a case, and the plaintiff paid handsomely by the Sun. It doesn't exist in the email. Plaintiff, was not invited to defendant Meghan's first wedding. Meghan never mentioned her wedding in the email, so therefore it didn't come from Meghan. Defendant was asked, her father to intervene with the plaintiff. No such statement in the email. Plaintiff father told her she was hurting her sister. No such statement is in Meghan's email. Defendant was an only child. Opinion. Meghan said, Meghan never said she was an only child. She said she was raised as an only child. Very big difference. She also said people who knew she was raised knew her as an only child. She was raised as an only child. She said it on Oprah. Literally, that's what she said. She was raised as an only child. And, defendant last saw the, plaintiff 18, 19 years ago. Substantial truth. Again, it does not injurious to her reputation. Plaintiff only changed her last name to Markle. Exactly. And, when Harry and Meghan got together, yeah, because again, as I was saying earlier, that's literally what she did. So she, I guess, again, filed those court cases under Rasmussen. And so because of all of that, there is nothing it's literally without merit. So for me, it's like, what lawyer would take this case? I'm not a lawyer, and I can see the ridiculousness of this case. I mean, it's just like, are you serious? And so my only thing with, lawyers taking this case is that they just want attention because Meghan Markle's name is attached to it. And I'm going to get back to that in a second, because it's the end of this is saying, it says, under the AntiSlap law, an award of reasonable attorney fees and costs is mandatory in these circumstances. Going down, Meghan is entitled to an award of fees and costs, which, if granted, will be set forth in substantial filing. Plaintiff complaints does not state a claim for defamation and is directed towards substantially protected speech. Let's just... It should be dismissed, and Meghan awarded her attorney fees and costs in connection with this motion. And finally, it says, pursuant to the rule 301 G3, I guess those are court, like the court numbers, whatever. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, hereby certifies that despite multiple attempts by the undersigned counsel to meet and confer with plaintiff over the course of 9 days, he was unable to reach plaintiff as of the date of this filing, which was yesterday, as set forth in the accompanying declaration of Michael Kump. And so, yeah, Samantha has seemed to have disappeared. They've been trying to find her for 9 days to, work out whatever they need to work out. And Samantha has pretty much disappeared. And so, Meghan, hopefully this is ended quickly. I say hopefully only because this was filed in Texas. And if you know, I'm sorry, this was filed in Florida. And if you know anything about Florida, let's just say that's where Jeffrey Epstein, his case was, and we saw what happened with that. And Jeffrey Epstein was walking free where he was hanging out with Prince Andrew. Yes, that's where that case was filed. And Jeffrey Epstein went free until, the end when all that stuff blew up and then he was put back in jail. But Florida, iffy. Their judges are iffy. And so my fingers are crossed, and it's iffy because the new attorney, apparently Samantha Markle has a new attorney, and that new attorney is with a law firm that is representing Donald Trump. That's right. Samantha Markle's new attorney is with a law firm that's representing Donald Trump. Now, how is Samantha Markle able to afford an attorney from the same law firm that's representing Donald Trump? That's why I say keep your fingers crossed. Pray, because this seems to be a lot bigger than just Samantha Markle suing her sister. And yeah, so lots of prayers, lots of, I had the same reservations about British judges, and they came through, they did their thing, they stuck to the law and saw the ridiculousness of the Daily Mail's or A&L, Associated Newspaper case, and obviously did the right thing, and Meghan won. I'm praying the same thing, that these judges will see the ridiculousness. I mean, I am not a lawyer in any stretch of the imagination. A lot of things about law I don't understand. But even me, a non-law person, could see the ridiculousness of this whole case. It doesn't, it's like I said, it is without merit. And so it is nonsense. And so I hope that, and then that will, because every time they have to file anything, it costs. And so, and I hope Meghan, he's able to get all of that back from Samantha. I know Samantha was she was suing for like $75,000. Girl, I hope she ends up having to pay all of Meghan's court fees. And so, I hope in the future Meghan files some kind of restraining order against her brother, her father, and then changes her to get rid of Markle, or definitely do something with her name where she, I don't know if she can do that. But anyway, yeah, I would, if I were literally, I would file a restraining order or something against them, something to keep them away from her and her family. This is ridiculous. She should not have to be dealing with this nonsense. This is highly just harassing someone, because there is no case here. Even a non-lawyer person like myself can see this is nonsense, so I just, yeah. Anyways, moving on from that. Oh, I saw this today, and I don't know if you guys saw it, because I don't know how many of you guys are on Twitter, but there's this new documentary coming out, The Princess, A Story About Us, in cinemas June 30th, and one of our squaddies posted it. And it looks like it's from the angle of the press, what the press did to her. And it is just, it's horrifying. And I'm going to see it only because I want to see, because that's what it looks like. But it's just, looking from there and just seeing all the press and all the photographers just chasing this woman. It's so, oh my goodness. I saw it and I was just like, I couldn't imagine having that around you. And it really helped me to see so much more why Harry and Meghan got out of there, because Lord, that they're vultures. I mean, it's like, it's such a barbaric culture. It's literally their press eats you. They literally eat you alive. And then they build a monument to you and all of that stuff. And then they go look for the next person to literally devour. And it's just so brutal. And so I'm gonna see it. It was just very eye-opening. So I just kind of wanted to throw it out there. It's coming in cinemas. I don't know if it's gonna be nationwide. If I don't know what the release is gonna be like, if it's gonna be on streaming or on this one of those streaming platforms, or if it's going to be, well, it says in cinemas, so I guess it's going to be literally in cinemas, but I don't know what kind of release, if it's going to be the really being released that is going to be released at the same time, where it's in cinemas and also released like pay, on one of the streaming platforms. So hopefully it's one of the streaming platforms, because I don't really want to go to a movie theater. I'm not there yet. And so I'd like to. But if it's not, then, I'm sure it's going to come out sometime on one of the platforms. So I will keep you informed if and when I know. I'll put it in the community page. So. And I also put the link in the community link in the show notes, so that way you can click on it and you can see the preview as well. So yes. Also, I don't know if you remember Hossein Manawa. He was in Meghan and Harry's first podcast when they did the Christmas podcast. He is the poet. He was also featured in the Me You Can See. He was talking about his mom when his mom passed. And so he is a poet, incredible poet. And so he wrote this book. And so a book of poetry, and it actually came out, I think, a few days ago, because I saw an interview with him on GMB, actually. And he talked a little bit about being on the Me You Can See, because the day that the Me You Can See came, when it came out, was the same day his mother passed. And so it was very emotional for him. And, and it was just, oh, wait, was it the day she passed, or was it her birthday? Something. Oh, I got to go back. I thought it was the day she passed, but now I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking, maybe I got that wrong. But it was the day that some big event in his mom's life. I think it's the day she passed, but it could have been her birthday. And so he was talking about that on GMB. And then they were trying to be like, oh, but you worked with William and Kate as well, because, obviously the Me You Can See is working with Harry, and he was talking about how amazing that was. And then the anchors on GMB was like, oh, but you work with Kate and William, right? On there. And he was like, yeah, I work with a lot of people. And he would not fall for, they were literally trying to get him to talk about William and Kate. And he's like, yeah, I work. They did it twice, and he just totally blew it, and blew it out, and he's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, I work with so many people. And so he would not focus on them. And so anyway, coming back to this, the publishers of his book, like, people were pre-ordering his book, and I guess they didn't expect the book to be this popular. They ran out of copies, and they are not restocking. And so they started giving back people their money. And it's a horrible thing, because this guy has worked so hard on his book. You would think a publisher would do another order of it so that they can fulfill their orders. Instead, they're giving people back their money, and they're not going to have any more books. So he was pretty distraught. And this just came out. Like, I saw the interview earlier this week, and the book literally just kind of came out a few days ago. And so he was saying, I've not slept one bit. I'm sad, and I'm sorry this is happening for all of us, including the book. Here's the Amazon link to Sad. Life is Sad and Beautiful. If you have the energy to go and reorder it from there. Once again, I'm sorry once again. And it's so sad for him. But what the publisher isn't, they're not going to do the, another set of the books, but you can purchase it on Amazon. So that's what he's like, and getting this to be a bestseller. I mean, there's a short window of, when it's really fresh in people's minds, so that they would go and purchase it right away. And it would be a shame for his book to not be a bestseller, because it's not his fault, And the thing about it too is, like, if this was like a big time writer, they would never do this, and this is someone, up and coming. He's amazing. He's a, black and brown community. I mean, they would only do that to our communities. Like, you would never do that if that was, a big time writer. It's like, what do you mean you're not gonna get more books and restock that book? And instead they're giving people back their money. And it's just so unfair. It is so unfair. This guy puts so much into his work. I mean, if you hear his poetry, it is amazing, And so I'm going to put the link in the show notes. If you guys have already purchased the book and they're sending you back your money, that publisher is sending you back your money, go to Amazon and get the book. And you'll find it there, and help Hussein to be able to get his book to be a bestseller. So, it broke my heart. It's like, and the name of the book again is Life is Sad and Beautiful. Talk about this is a sad moment, but finding the beauty in the sad. So anyway, moving on to more pleasant things. Our fave, Harry, James, we know that he and James Corden are besties, and they, have known each other since he was in England. And oh my gosh, I'm realizing that I forgot to use my ticker things, my banner things that I always make and forget. So I'm going to write my banner thing now. I forgot the other two, but I'm going to use my banner for this one. And it's literally sitting right to the right of me, and I always forget to click it. I always forget them. Anyway, so now we're having Prince Harry riding high. That's my banner because he is. So anyways, let's change this up a little bit. Yeah, we are. So James Corden, and as we know, him and Harry are besties, and Prince Harry did that great skit and stuff on his show, the Tonight Show. And I mean, who can forget them on the top of the open air bus, the tourist bus in LA, riding on the freeway in LA and having tea. And so it's actually probably one of their, not probably, it is one of their, I mean, that thing is probably like 30 or 40 million views of that thing. Even me yesterday, when I saw the story, I went back and watched it a few times. So I added a few more views to it. It is just hilarious. This time that he spent with Harry on the show. It's just one of the, it's just fun. And it was so wild because it's one of the first times it's like, he basically humanized the Queen and Prince Philip. And it was just so wonderful. Of course, the British press are like, oh, it was terrible. It was cringeworthy. It was being ridiculous as usual. But anyway, James Corden, he is actually leaving the Tonight Show. And, he actually gave an interview to The Sun of all people. I could never understand British people sometimes. The Sun is the worst. Like, why would you give an interview to a tabloid? But I just and also too, as a friend of Harry, why would you give a interview to the tabloid that he's literally suing? That is just, oh God, British people, I don't even know how. I just don't get it. But anyway, he did. And so, but I decided I'm not going to use anything from The Sun. So I used it from the Evening Standard. I side-eye them sometimes, but they're at least a little bit better than The Sun. So it says, James Corden praises brave Prince Harry and revealed their children go on play dates. And so, yeah, he talked about, going, because they'd ask him, obviously, they always ask anybody that knows Harry if they went over to their house. And of course, they had to mention houses. 11 million pounds, which always keep fluctuating. It's like 17 million, 14 million, 11. It depends on which paper you read. It's like you get a different number in all of them. Nobody can keep their lies straight as to how much Harry and Meghan's house costs. But so he did mention that they are buddies, and they go over for, and a lot of times they go for play dates because they do have a 4-year-old. And so I'm assuming that he plays with Archie, and of course Lily is there and probably cooing along. And so they go for play dates. And he mentioned that, after that they went at least one time, I don't know how many times, but they would go out for lunch, for dinner, and that it was fantastic. So, and some of what he says, look, I'm a huge fan of both of them is in Harry and Meghan. Obviously, I know Harry better than I know Meghan, but I think it's really hard to judge or be judgmental. obviously, because he's known Harry way before he even met Meghan. I mean, before Harry even met Meghan. And people process things and deal with things in different ways, and that's okay. And that's all right to think whatever you think about somebody. I don't know if it's necessary, if it necessarily needs to be voiced the whole time, but my experience with them have been nothing but positive. I have a huge amount for respect, and I have a huge amount of respect and admiration for Harry, and anyone who had been around him and spent time with him would feel exactly the same. I think he is a devoted and loving husband and father, and I think what they have done in turning away from the royal life is incredibly brave, and I'll always be in their corner. And so, yeah, it just, again, anybody who's met them and spent time with them have the same response. They have the same. So you always know the people whenever you're listening to people, for some of us who are apt to, believe the tabloids, anytime you meet someone who's actually met Harry and Meghan, they literally have the same thing to say. They literally have the same thing to say. You always know the ones who have not met them. And those are the ones who are screaming either on Twitter or in the British press, screaming nasty, ugly things and lying about them, because every person who know them, who have spent any amount of time with them, have the same things to say about them. And so I just, kudos to James Corden. I know he is also leaving the show, and he's actually said he's going to move back to the UK. Who knows? I don't know if that's full time, or, he spent time there and spent time in LA, or he's just, uprooting and just going home. That could be the case as well. So, but after that, of course, a lot of you see this article all over Twitter, or actually a lot of people pick this article up, so you'll find it a bunch of different places, a bunch of different outlets sharing this, picked up the story, and with that come all the negative comments. So now they're attacking James Corden and saying, we don't want you back in the UK. I'm telling you, British people, you are sick, weird. Like, I literally have never met people like, I didn't know people like British people existed before this Meghan and Harry. I would have never in my life think in the year 2022 that people like this would still exist. I just like, it is so backwards. It's like, what are you? It's just so ridiculous. But that's who they are, unfortunately. And that's who James Corden is going back to, unfortunately. But, again, a lot of it is social media and the press, which does not exactly mean all British people is like this. This is probably just the loud minority, and they are extremely loud. So, anyways, moving on. Harry and Paolo, Harry and Nacho, they actually played this game yesterday, this match yesterday at 4, and I have not gotten any news about it. So I was searching Twitter and I couldn't come up with any score. So what I knew is whichever team they played, Los Padres, whichever team they played yesterday, I think it's called they were playing the Antelope, and they're playing the semis in the Folded Hills Challenge. One of the team, whoever won yesterday, is going to go on to play, I guess, on Sunday. So if Harry's team won, if Los Padres won, they would be playing tomorrow, and if not, they're not. So I am going, when I'm done with this, I'm going to go back on Twitter to find out, like, what is the score? I have no idea. I haven't seen it, but they played yesterday. So if they play tomorrow, then we know they won yesterday. So that's the deal. So I'm just excited about that. So yeah. And also, I saw this news, and I was like, "You go, Sentebale!" I'm telling you, Harry's charities and initiatives are doing amazing. I am so proud of this man. He is doing it. There's this news that from Third Sector, it says that Royal Charity is set for a windfall thanks to Prince Harry's donation and significant legacy. And I was like, huh? So it says a charity created by Prince Harry, Sentebale, is set to receive a windfall worth of more than £1 million. Sentebale's latest accounts published last week with Companies House with Companies House revealed that the charity will receive both a donation of 1.2 million pounds from Prince Harry and a separate significant legacy gift before the end of August this year. Asked whether the legacy came from Prince Philip, Prince Harry's grandfather, who died in April 2021, a Sentebale spokesperson says, the legacy referred to in our 2020-21 annual report and accounts is not a gift from Prince Philip's estate. The legacy noted in our accounts is from a Sentebale supporter. So whomever that supporter is, they're going to be gifting Sentebale £1 million, or over £1 million. The charity accounting standards required us to disclose that legacy. That legacy had been pledged, even though the probate had not yet been granted. Given the final valuation is to be confirmed, we cannot provide any further details on this stage. So, whoever that wonderful person is, thank you for Sentebale. But Sentebale they're doing well. And again, Harry's initiatives are all doing wonderful. We saw what happened with Invictus, Sentebale's. I mean, hello, they're doing their thing. And, Travelers is doing this. I mean, dude, you are just flying high. That's why I have Prince Harry is riding high. I just think that is fantastic. So you go. I am just so proud of him. He is doing great. And Invictus! I posted this on our community page yesterday. UKNL. I'm telling you, again, the US and the UK embassies have been doing amazing when it comes to Invictus. The embassies and the defense departments. I've been talking about them. I think I've talked about them every episode that I've spoken about Invictus. And so they're the ones that hosted the UKNL embassy, the UK embassy in the Netherlands. They hosted this podcast. I think there were 4 of them. For the Invictus Games, and it's called Invictus Voices, and I posted it in our community page, their final episode where Dominic Reed, who is, I guess, CEO of Invictus, and also the lady who actually she is the CEO of the Legacy of the Hague. They're the ones. She's the one that got the games to the Hague, and so it was really incredible. And they were talking about the bench and all of those things, the yellow bench and all of that stuff. So it's a really good. It's a really good podcast. So if you get a chance, the link is in our community page. I'm actually also going to put it in the description of this video, so you can just click on it and listen. It's their 4th and final episode. And it was, again, hosted by the embassy, the assistant ambassador. I think that's her title. She's the one that hosted the podcast, and it was really, really good. And it's again, the embassies were fantastic. I keep saying that. So it's listen to Lucy Ferguson, the deputy HM, speak with Invictus Games Foundation CEO Dominic Reed and Invictus Games The Hague 2020 CEO Connie Wenting about the legacy of The Hague, the symbolism of the yellow bench. So it's a really good podcast, so definitely check it out. And more on Invictus, Vachko, I think I spoke about Vachko in the last episode where I mentioned the Invictus Games. Vachko is the team captain for Germany, and he received this letter. He says, today I received an unexpected letter from the Parliament Commissioner for the Armed Forces, Miss Dr. Eva Hogel. Would like to thank the entire Invictus Games team. I was very happy about this gesture. And again, the defense departments in these countries have been amazing. It's just, I'm telling you, I am so impressed with them, and this is Team Germany, and which has always made me feel really, to see how they have been treated and by their prime ministers or their kings and queens, wherever country they are, the defense departments in the countries, the presidents, and I mean, so many countries were treated so well. And that's why I was been so upset about the British Prime Minister and the Queen. Harry said the Queen sent a long private message, but there was nothing public, no public acknowledgement of the vets. And I'm just like very upset about that. I have not been able to get over how they treated the British vets. But thank God for the embassies and the defense departments that has been really stepped up and really made them feel loved. And then Harry and Meghan really spent a lot of time with them, so that way they wouldn't feel like left out of anything. But this is great that Vachko received this letter from the commissioner for the armed forces. So good for them. And then more Invictus games. I'm telling you, when I say people cannot let go of these games, I am not kidding. The Belgium team returned home, and the Belgium royal palace, so the royals in Belgium, the king and queen of Belgium, says the king and queen. This is the translation from the top part. So the king and queen received the athletes who participated in the Paralympics, Winter Games in Beijing 2020, and the Invictus Games in The Hague at the Chateau de Lequin. I hope I said that right. the Chateau. The Chateau. Y'all can laugh at me because I don't know how to say it. But anyways, it goes on to says, at the Paralympics Winter Games in Beijing 2022, Belgium won 15 medals. Yeah, Belgium! For its first participation in the Invictus Games, Belgium won no less than 8 medals. So it is so fantastic for them that their team first time at the Invictus. Of course, they were in Beijing as well. So first time at the Invictus, and it's just so wonderful. The king and queen welcomed them into the palace and are celebrating them. And Belgium, they're like, ooh, we got here and we want more. So Belgium is now, says the Premier Alexander de Croo, wants to organize one of the next Invictus Games in Belgium. They just got there. The chief of staff of the Belgium Army, Admiral Michael Hoffman, thinks this is a good plan and aims for a date before 2030. So Belgium just went to the Invictus Game for the first time, and they're like, I like this. We should host it before 2030. And I love that spirit. They're not sitting around waiting for other cities to take it. They're like, we want to host the games. And that for me is such a testament to how amazing the games are, that the team that could be there the first year and they're already thinking, we want to host this. This is something fantastic, and that, we saw how incredible the Invictus Game. Why wouldn't they want to host it? So I just think that is absolutely fantastic. So hey, maybe we'll be, squaddies will be off to Belgium before 2030. Lord keeps us alive. You go, Team Belgium. And speaking of Invictus, British for the British team, they are looking for participants, for people who you think that would be able to be a part of the British team. So if you are British squaddies, if you know veterans, injured, wounded veterans in the UK who you think could be part of the Invictus Games UK, I'm going to put the link in the show notes in the description of this video, where you can send it off to them and they can apply and go through whatever they need to go through to see if they can be a part of the Invictus Games 2023. That is next year, so they got to do it right, quickly, so that they can get to training and all of those wonderful things. So the Royal British Legion says, we are excited to be working in partnership with Defense HQ to deliver Team UK to the Invictus Games Dusseldorf 2023. If you or someone you know is eligible and want to take part, visit our website to register your interest. So again, I'm going to put the link in the description of this video. So please, if you or someone who you think would be great, who is a veteran and And this would be amazing for them. Just please give them the link, let them go, or take them, do it with them, so that they can sign up, and they could go through whatever they need to go through to see if they can be part of the British team. So I just think it's fantastic, and hopefully next time, whomever is the president or whomever, or prime ministers, I should say, and people in their leadership would be a lot more hospitable, a lot more, loving, and actually pay attention to their veterans, including, letting them fly to Germany as opposed to taking a bus, which is what they did. I can't even. I just don't even want to. Anyways, or maybe they're thinking environment. That could be too, but it's a little bit like, these are your veterans. Treat them with, give them first class treatment. Not that the bus isn't great, but I'm sure they would appreciate maybe a flight that's, I don't know how long it takes from the UK to maybe an hour and a half. I don't know, maybe shorter from the UK to the Netherlands. I mean, these are your veterans. Get a military plane to take them, not have them. Britain, it's so frustrating. So anyway, that the thing about this is, I was thinking about this, I don't know, it just really bothered me. It hurt my heart to see that they weren't loved the way they should have been. And one of the things I was thinking of too, with Harry and Meghan going back to the UK for the Jubilee, is my dream for them is, yes, the Jubilee stuff is going on, but I just, and I don't know if they, what their plans are and everything, but for me, it would be so nice, I think, for me, as I was thinking about what I would like, this is my own personal feelings and opinions, is to see them do something really special with the British team, with the British Invictus team, and, the rest of his military buds. And I was thinking like, oh, wouldn't it be great if the British military veterans from Invictus veterans, and his military pals and stuff, his units, get together with Meghan's the Hop Community Kitchen, Luminary Bakery, the women from oh shoot, I always forget their name. Who does the interviews? I forgot. I don't know why. It's like, I think I have like a brain freeze when it comes to them. But and all these, the organizations that they have worked with, that they come together and they have a big party, and they're, I don't know. I was like, I don't, in my way of thinking, it's like, I just don't want them to have anything to do with the planned, the Buckingham Palace planned events. I just want them to do stuff with their charities, the charities that we have loved and supported, and that's who I want to see them with. And that's my selfish wants and needs. And of course, they don't have to do any of those things, but that's just what I want. I would love to see. It's like anything but doing stuff Buckingham Palace planned. So, I'm sure they'll do stuff, Buckingham Palace planned. But at least, what am I saying? I'm sure. I don't know what their plans are. So anyways, yeah, I don't know. I just want this team to feel loved, and and of course, Harry and Meghan did that in The Hague, but my dream would be to see all of them, and his peeps and Meghan's peeps all come together and they do a celebration or whatever it is they're doing. So yeah, but anyways, moving on, Invictus Games tweeted us out today. Check out our new home for the Invictus Games Dusseldorf 2023. I'm telling you, this is fantastic. What a huge space. And so only 483 days to go, but who's counting? For Invictus Games DE, Germany. Invictus Games Dusseldorf. So I am excited. I am, I've never been to Europe. I have obviously never been to Germany because I've never been to Europe. So and I am looking forward to, my goal is to be there. Lord willing, he keeps me alive until then. I am excited about this. It is going to be amazing. And I know some squaddies who are already planning to go there as well. And yeah. So I think it's going to be amazing. So yes, Invictus Games, they are they are on it already. They're like, only 443 483 days to go, so pack your bags, people. So so hopefully a lot of us in this community would be heading off to Germany. If you're not in Europe, many of us in the Caribbean or Africa or US, that we are already packing our bags to head off to Germany. So it would be fantastic. So anyways, that's all I got, everyone. Thank you so much for listening or hanging out with me for the last over an hour, chatting and about all things. And I am like gonna go back to like I'm still laughing about Prince William being booed. It's just like, and I don't mean to be mean, it's not a good feeling, when someone boos you. It's just not. It's a horrible feeling, and it's embarrassing for one thing, and then he has to stay there for the entire match because why? He's the president of the FA. He can't just say, well, they boo me, so I'm leaving. He has to stay there, and so it's not a good feeling. I know that. I can imagine that. But on the other hand, I look at, I'm like, you know what? Your people, the people that you and the royal family have allowed to represent you in the press, are the very tabloids that have been wishing exactly that on Meghan and Harry. And you have not said a word. You have not stepped in and say, you know what, that is not right. You have not stepped in and say, no, you cannot do that. That could put their security at risk. That, you have to think, you have kids. That is inciting hate and violence against my brother. Prince William could speak out, and he has said nothing. So him being booed, that's on him, and it's just like, I'm like, no, you don't want to see anybody, if it was somebody else, I wouldn't want to see that, because again, it's not a pleasant feeling. And again, poor Queen Betty, she's like, I was just home looking at my horses. Now they're booing me. She's like, I'm just trying to sit and stay alive until my Jubilee, and they're booing, God save the Queen. Well, did nobody want me saved? But it's just like, I think, again, Queen Betty and William and the royal family could have spoken out when their royal rota has been inciting hate and inciting this very thing against Harry and Meghan. People are even talking about on Twitter about throwing things at the balcony if Harry and Meghan, go there. And so nobody in the royal family or the royal institution have spoken out about it. Eamon Holmes, again, threatened, he's like, they should throw Harry and Meghan off the balcony. Nobody in the royal family said a word. So honestly, this is what you get. This is karma. This is the ancestors. And that's it. So anyway, back to my positive. I shouldn't have done that. Why did I just do that and go back to them? Oh, I'm mad at myself. I should have never gone back to them with their negative stuff. Let's breathe and go back to thinking about positives. Oh, I'm mad at myself now. But anyways, let's think about Dusseldorf and let's think about going to Germany. Yes, that is how I want to end it. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm going back to, the positives of Invictus games and just washing away anything else. So sorry. But anyway, guys, thank you for just indulging my nonsense. And I'm grateful for you guys. Thank you so much. Let me change my banner to the subscribe banner. Yep. Oh, I should remember that. Very proud of myself. As you can see at the bottom, please, the little scrolly things going by there. Just subscribe to our channel if you haven't. We are looking to build a channel. Please help us. If you haven't already subscribed, click the notification bell so you know when we drop a video. You can also support our channel. We are very grateful for any support you have. Of course, you're not obligated, but we are grateful if you want to support us. There are quite a few ways you can support us. You can join our channel. You can become a part of the 2 Cents Crew. Join our channel where you support us monthly, and you get little perks that I do, as part of your membership, including behind the scenes photos or, advanced photos of what we're going to be doing or what the episodes are, etc., etc. that it's not on, community wide. You get a little bit extra things as well as the stuff we do for everyone else. So you can do that. And there are also that little, you'll see a little heart in the bottom. It says thanks and a little like dollar sign thing. You can also support us that way as well. If you're a part of the stream, you can use the super stickers and stuff like that. Or if not, you can you'll see right at the bottom of this video, that little heart and the little dollar sign. You can support us that way. Just click that and donate. We will get it, and it will be amazing, and we'll just be so grateful for you. You can also purchase. We also do have merchandise. At this right here, yeah. I remembered my merchandise picture today. We have merchandise, so the link is in the description of this video. So please feel free to jump in and shop until you drop. Definitely do that. So that would be awesome. You want to do that. We also have you see the background of this. These are art prints that from my dad. He allows me to use them. So we also sell that. You can find the links of that for that in also the description. Actually, it's the same link as the merchandise. You can also purchase art prints, that and others. You'll see that. You can just scroll and you'll see them. And yeah, that's another way to support us. So, and we do have PayPal and Cash App as well. So we have a myriad of ways that you can support us if you choose. I hope you do. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. So until next time, guys, I love you all. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Yeah.